Throughout the day and on Donald Trump's disastrous flight back to Washington, D.C., he kept on saying that he wants the United States to invade Nigeria. He keeps repeating it over and over again, and he says that he has not ruled out sending ground troops to invade Nigeria. This is where you're going to send ground troops here. I'll just play for you what he says. This is what he's been reposting on the flight. He says U.S. troops could be on the ground in Nigeria. He says they're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria, and he's going to put troops in there potentially. Here, play this clip.
They're killing record numbers of Christians in Nigeria. And they have other countries very bad also. You know that part of the world, very bad. They're killing the Christians and killing them in very large numbers. We're not going to allow that to happen.
By the way, you know who was helping Christians in Nigeria? USAID, not just Christians, but helping people in general. But you gutted that. Oh, and you know what else you gutted? Our entire State Department, essentially, as well. On this disastrous flight back to Washington, D.C., Donald Trump also was asked about, so what's your plan for Ukraine? You promised peace on day one. That hasn't happened. So what's going to happen, Donald? And he goes, you just got to let them fight it out. Let them fight, he says. Oh, says the guy who wants to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Just let them fight. Here, play this clip.
There's no final straw. Sometimes you have to let it fight out. They're fighting it out. And it's been a tough war for Putin. He's lost a lot of soldiers, maybe 1 million. That's a lot of soldiers. And it's been tough for Ukraine. It's been tough for both. Sometimes you have to let it, just get bought out. We have, I've settled 8 wars. I thought that one would be easier than some of the ones we settled. And by the way, we got 3 hostages back. The hostages were so sad. We're talking about dead bodies.
Then Donald Trump, again, showing these bizarre cognitive issues. He kind of like lives 20 years ago as well. He says, thank God for TiVo. I'm watching everything on TiVo now. What? Here, play this clip.
I'm going to try and watch 60 Minutes, but I may be delayed. Let's see if they treat me better than they treat other people. Although, I do say this, they treated Kamala very well. In fact, they changed their answers. I will try, but we may land just as it starts, right? It's very split second. But thank goodness for TiVo, or something thereof, right? TiVo. We love TiVo. We love TiVo. One of my favorite, one of the greatest inventions in history. Have a good time. Thank you.
No wonder after showing you these clips that in the latest YouGov poll amongst the 18 to 29 crosstab of voters, the disapproval of Donald Trump has now reached 75%. Let me repeat that. Young people ages 18 to 29 disapprove Donald Trump 75%. That's like the highest disapproval like any president ever almost amongst that 18 to 29 cohort right there as well. Donald Trump continued to rant and rave like a lunatic on Air Force One. Terminate the filibuster, not just for the shutdown, but for everything. We will get all of our common sense policies approved. Voter ID, anyone? And make America great again. Do it. Do it. Kill the filibuster right now. Meanwhile, one of the things that we're learning is that ICE shot an American citizen and food bank worker who tried to block them arresting an immigrant by pulling his car in front of them. After being released from the hospital, he is now facing charges for assault on a federal officer. That's what the Trump regime is all about. And by the way, as Adam Kinzinger, who we are the distributors of his movie, The Last Republican, available on all streaming platforms. Have you seen the movie, The Last Republican? Kinzinger goes, OMG, ha ha ha. He even got more rolled than we know by China. Pete Hegseth will go down in history with Trump as the biggest fail. So China is now defending all of its Russian oil imports, and it vows firm countermeasures to U.S. pressure. China firmly rejected renewed U.S. pressure to halt its imports of Russian oil. The Chinese Foreign Ministry stated its energy trade with Russia is entirely lawful. By the way, the same goes with Prime Minister Takaishi of Japan. So with all of that, remember how she was like walking Donald Trump around and Trump was wandering aimlessly? Japan says, Donald, we're not listening to any of the things. Go back to America and you could pretend we're giving you 550 billion monopoly dollars. Okay, Donald? Great work there. And also we saw, and we predicted this here on MeidasTouch Network. I don't think it was all that hard to predict. The ceasefire in the Middle East between Hamas and Israel is all but gone. It never really existed in the first place. Now, Turkey will be hosting a Gaza meeting to deal with basically the fallout of the broken ceasefire. There's been over 100 Palestinians who have been killed. Hamas has reasserted control over Gaza. Israel doesn't support a two-state solution. Israel's accused Hamas of violating the ceasefire. Hamas has accused Israel of violating the ceasefire and not bringing humanitarian aid. Here's how it's described by the Jerusalem Post. This should tell you everything. The U.S. brokered Gaza truce, which left thorny issues like the disarmament of Palestinian militant group Hamas and a timeline for Israeli withdrawal from Gaza unresolved, has been tested by periodic violence since coming into force. Just think about every word I just read to you. It's been tested by periodic violence. You mean there hasn't been a ceasefire, over 100 Palestinians have been killed, humanitarian aid is not going into Gaza, Hamas has reestablished control over Gaza, Israel doesn't support a two-state solution and a free Palestine. None of the issues that needed to be addressed in any type of deal were actually addressed, but our idiotic media here and idiotic media abroad said historic peace deal. What would be the historic peace deal? Look, it's a good thing the hostages were returned. Biden secured the release of 83% of the hostages. That's a good thing, but it doesn't mean that there's a historic peace deal. Like, let's focus on the actual facts here. And I know that's why you watch the MeidasTouch Network, because we get away from all of the BS and just report what's the reality of the situation that's actually taking place right now. I did a whole video of this last night, but Donald Trump gave that disastrous interview with 60 Minutes where he said, of course I rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin. Trump says, I roll out the red carpet for everybody. No, you didn't. You do quite the contrary when it comes to Zelensky, Prime Minister Carney, Anthony Albanese, and others. Then Donald Trump said, we all know that Russia and China are doing secret nuclear tests right now. I think we would find out if they were doing it because it would register, the impact and the shockwaves would register. But that's why Trump says, so the United States needs to do nuclear tests. Also, Donald Trump said that grocery prices are actually down. They're not going up. But he says, just blame everything on Democrats. Everything is the Democrats' fault, he says. I also want to bring your attention to this. I'm going to do a whole other video of it after this. I'm going to call it Trump Gets a Rude Awakening or something like that in New Jersey, because the latest early voting numbers are in, and Democrats are just crushing it right here. If you just take a look at 2024 versus 2025 of the Democratic percentage over Republican percentage of this early in-person voting, over 14% on Sunday, more Democrats than Republicans engaged in in-person voting. That number is essentially unprecedented. Oh, by the way, when Donald Trump was on that disastrous landing, heading back to Washington, D.C., he wanted everybody to know that he feels really badly about something as it relates to Epstein. He goes, he feels really bad for what the royal family must be going through right now, that Prince Andrew's been kicked out. That's who Donald Trump feels bad for. Not the Epstein victims, but the royal family. Here, play this clip.
Prince Andrew in the UK has had his royal titles stripped away because of the Epstein scandal. I know you're close to the royal family there. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I feel very badly. I mean, it's a terrible thing that's happened to the family. That's been a tragic situation. And it's too bad. I mean, I feel badly for the family.
Has Donald Trump once ever expressed any sympathy towards the victims? Or just, how about any victims of anything? No, Donald Trump hates the victims. Donald Trump himself plays a victim, but when people are surviving catastrophic weather events or horrific wars or invasions or or being sex trafficked or whatever. Donald Trump doesn't have a single shred of empathy at all. Instead, he wants to focus on his golden ballrooms, his great Gatsby themed parties. A little party never killed nobody. That's the theme of the party, where they had like half naked girls running around Mar-a-Lago. A little party never killed nobody. That's what he was doing this weekend, right? As Americans are starving to death, as 42 million Americans risk losing their supplemental nutrition assistance program benefits, and while the United States Department of Agriculture sent a letter to grocery stores, you cannot give any sales or discounts or special benefits to SNAP recipients. This is what the Trump government said, or else we will not provide you with the ability to even in the future take the SNAP card, take food stamps, take the card to begin with. Think about that. That's what the government said. Do not help the SNAP beneficiaries out anymore at all. I mean, sickening. And then while all of that's going on, while Trump's ripping away healthcare from you and 20 million people, like you're getting your Affordable Care Act enrollment, open enrollment letters now. And you know what we've been saying, that the price is literally $20,000 to $30,000 a year more right now for plans. Who the hell can afford that? But that's okay. Trump's focused on his great Gatsby party, the Roaring 20 party. He loves his ballrooms. He wants to do parties at the ballrooms, everybody. At least Marie Antoinette let them eat cake. Donald Trump says let them starve to death while he builds this golden ballroom, the triumphal arches. I mean, what a despicable person he is. Let's talk about what California Governor Gavin Newsom was saying on the eve of the historic Prop 50 vote tomorrow, November 4th. Be there. Big elections across the country. New Jersey's Governor Mikey Sherrill, Democratic candidate running there against the MAGA Republican candidate. You have in Virginia, Abigail Spanberger, the Democratic candidate there. All the House of Delegates is up for election too. Prop 50 in California, Zoran Mamdani in New York. I mean, a lot going on. Here's what Governor Newsom had to say yesterday. Play this clip.
That you just mentioned, but it sounds like you're predicting a big night for Democrats on November 4th.
I am, and for obvious reasons. I mean, this is a historically unpopular president. His policies are even more unpopular than the president himself. In every core category, he's underwater. And he's a guy who promised to make us wealthier and healthier. We're poorer and sicker. Across the board, people are starting to realize that not only is our coffee more expensive, their beef is more expensive, but the cost of an automobile is more expensive. Since he became president, the cost of utilities, all the things he promised to solve day one, he hasn't solved. So his recklessness aside, his style aside, the substance he hasn't delivered. And that's why, again, we're here, Prop 50, because he knows he's going to lose the midterms and he's trying to rig the election before one vote is cast.
Now contrast that to what Caroline Leavitt had to say when she was going on her state regime media appearances, and she claimed that we brought in trillions of dollars. There's trillions of dollars. Nobody knows where it is, but Trump brought in trillions of fake dollars, apparently. And we brought in so much money, but it's so super secret that we're not going to actually give people health care. It's so super secret that we're going to not give people the benefits that they're owed to on SNAP. And the government's going to still claim that it has record deficits. The deficit, by the way, year over year, 7% higher now than under former President Biden. Debt is skyrocketing right now. It passed 37 trillion, $38 trillion right now. Here's what Caroline Leavitt has to say. Play this clip.
Look at what President Trump has been able to do by leveraging tariffs and leveraging the might of the United States economy. We are the #1 consumer country in the world, and every country around the world knows it. It's because of tariffs that President Trump has been effectively able to cut so many tailor-made trade deals with so many countries around the country. Look at what around the world. I mean, look at what he just did in Asia. You had Malaysia, you had Japan, you had South Korea, trade deals all over the place, trillions of dollars of investments pouring into our country because of his effective use of tariffs.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Disastrous landing back to D.C. We'll keep you posted each step of the way here on the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million.
New Midas merch. Head to store.MeidasTouch.com today and get yourself the best pro-democracy gear and show your support. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.